Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Church is Stupid.
Come a butt.
I'm Kate.
I'm Ruth.
I'm Elijah.
And I'm single.
Woo! There we go.
We're off to a great start, as always. Hi, single. What's your other name you go by?
My name is Sam Irish. I am unfortunately related to Ruth.
So now you see why I didn't want my brother on. So anyhow.
But he's here, whether you like
He's
it or
here.
not.
I actually paid him gas money to come here, so I guess
No,
I'm
you didn't. Not yet.
In theory. It's on the way.
It's coming at some point.
You didn't pay for expedited shipping, so it's going to
Yeah,
take a
come
bit.
Do I need to say my Venmo on here?
Yeah, if you could just say your credit card and social security number right
Shoot,
now.
okay.
Don't forget those 3 little numbers on the back of the card. So we have Sam here today because a couple weeks back it's actually been a couple months now, we had talked Kate into getting onto some Christian dating apps. And at that point, Sam, actually, you know what, Kate, why don't you tell this story?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
So
great. I'd love to hear from your
Horrible,
perspective.
Horrible story.
So I'm just kind of chilling one night. I'm bored out of my mind, can't fall asleep. So I'm like, I'll just kind of see who's on this site. So I'm kind of scrolling through, and all of a sudden I see this dude. It's like Sam or something. And somehow it came up. I forget what it said. Okay.
His name's Single is what his name is.
Exactly.
Come on
Sorry, single. But I was like, he looks really familiar. And somehow there was something else that made me connect it to Ruth. So I immediately screenshot this and text Ruth.
Nice.
What? Girl code. So I immediately screenshot and sent it to Ruth, and I'm like, dude, is this your brother on this site? What the heck is
That was the
happening?
fateful day that I found out that my little
That was
baby
the first day I used the app. I literally deleted it for a month after. I was like, I can't do it.
This is also, it's important to know that this is the first time that Sam and Kate have actually ever met in person.
Yeah.
So,
So my cute
Under great
innocent
circumstance.
baby brother was on a dating app. Gross.
all right, this episode sucks so far. Let's get into it.
And so
Just kidding.
You cannot complain, okay? I had to hear about y'all having sex last episode, okay?
Yeah,
This
we
was
Wait, you
did.
guys have
payback.
sex?
I don't know. I think
I
so.
don't want to lose my job, so we're gonna just move on past this and go to.
Ruth and I have been married for almost 5 years.
Really been like 4.
I guess it's been almost 4 years. I've lost
No,
track.
it's been 4 in a month.
Oh my gosh, that's right. So this is episode 2 of our Christian dating series.
Yes. And so, as such, we are going to be delving into what your guys' experiences were on these beautiful, amazing Christian dating apps. Now,
Yay.
did either of you sign up for a non-Christian dating app as well?
Yeah.
Nope.
Just a few.
To be fair, Sam, didn't your friends bully you into making it?
Yeah, I got a Tinder, a Hinge. What's the other one?
Don't list them.
Why not?
Bumble.
It's fine.
I guess go
Ladies.
ahead. That was what I was
Find
afraid
me.
of.
You can find my social media on any of these dating apps. Just look up.
He already gave his name.
Oh goodness.
The thumbnail for this podcast should just be my profile.
Sam,
Just
tell us.
remember,
Okay.
just remember, he's related to me, so that should just you'd have to deal with me. So
Sam,
Ugh.
tell us any notable experiences regarding, your experience with these dating apps. What were your expectations, and what did they actually play out into?
Well, my expectations was to obviously match with somebody and talk, which is
no,
very.
what's the reality?
That's not the reality of it.
Oh no.
Well, it's so hard to strike up a conversation with somebody you don't know,
So true.
and it's
Especially when you kind of know that you're going into it with that dating perspective,
Yeah.
right?
But so many people do it.
I don't know why.
I know. I know one person that's actually worked for. I was like, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And it did not work out.
It worked for my cousin.
I'm lucky that.
Did you notice any differences between using the Christian app versus the non-Christian app?
Yep, 100%.
Ooh, elaborate, please.
But elaborate.
Wait, can you elaborate?
Yeah.
Appropriately elaborate, please.
I'll just say clothing is different.
Oh, yeah.
Touche.
Fair enough.
That's
Or
fair.
lack thereof.
Fair enough, yeah. Well, Kate,
Yes.
you need to tell us now about your experiences.
What a
God, we're so
transition.
unprofessional. We have no idea what
It's
we're
been
doing.
an ordeal. It's been an ordeal.
Yeah.
My profile was turned off for a few months because I was talking to somebody. That's fine. People. It's weird getting to know people. Like I'm at that point where like I want to be in a relationship, but like I don't want to like have to meet people to get in said relationship.
It's the eternal struggle.
Yeah.
We've been married for 4 years. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm. Just
But,
met
like, it's-
before I met you, hon. Come on.
You didn't exist before I met you. What are you talking about?
You just
Your
kind
only
of
form of
appeared.
validation is from being married to me.
Yeah, come on.
You weren't a person before that.
Elijah's a
Obvious.
social construct.
We live in this society.
That we do.
So, I don't know. I guess when I was growing up, I mean, I'm not much really older than Sam, but when I was,
Thanks for that.
you're welcome. When I was growing up,
22, ladies.
I knew about like I remember. Oh boy. Okay, online dating when I was growing up, at least from what I understood, was for like old people who like missed their shot. That's basically
Yes.
That's what it. That's what it.
Farmers
seemed to be.
only.
Yes.
I mean, honestly though,
eHarmony.
I remember seeing the commercials for eHarmony, and it was clearly geared
All old people.
toward middle-aged
Yeah.
people who were looking to like get married. Practically, I mean, as the commercial would have you think, right? But through like over the years, it's definitely become more and more. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be for people my age, I guess, but it's become more and more centered towards like youth, right, and towards young adults meeting each other rather than just. It sort of started out, I think, as like for the older people, I think. But I mean, as I said last episode, I lived in a strict like you can't date until you're 18 household, so can't exactly get away with being on a dating app in that kind of household. But I
My dad's
also really
trying to
never
palm me
wanted
off
to
on
be, and I don't
somebody.
actually remember. By the time like I graduated high school, I'm sure that there were, I think like Match.com was a big thing at the time, but like Tinder wasn't out back then, and I think that it was still kind of weird, I think, for people like in my class. But now it seems to me like it's almost weird not to be, at least like
Yeah.
I
in
mean, from
public
the, like,
schools or something, right?
even older perspective, I grew up mostly in the you don't talk to people online because they're probably scary, creepy people.
Oh
So,
yeah,
like the whole
Yeah.
idea of internet dating was like insanely dumb.
right, yeah.
Like, yeah, that would be something. But two of your best friends met online.
That's right. Yeah, I met one of my best friends. I met through playing games online, and through meeting her, I managed to connect her with someone that I knew from my high school who I was also playing games with, and they have been together for I think 5 or 6 years now, and now they're both like living up in Michigan, like so. Yeah, like it's not as far fetched as it seemed, I guess, back then. It's a little more the norm, I guess.
So what's the worst part about being on these Christian dating apps?
Finding somebody you know.
Touche.
He said,
Finding
pointing
your
at the-
pastor's brother on there is the
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
just
a
like
little
talking to
terrifying.
someone, figuring out what to say, because like it's all the awkward like, "Hi, how are you?" All this, I don't know. you
Haha,
like
we're both
match-
on a dating app. So weird, right?
Yeah, it's very.
So
It's-
quirky,
yeah.
lol.
Yeah.
I feel like for me this could very well just be a generational thing. The hardest thing I think for me would be like, are you actually who you say you are?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be my constant thing with that. Like, are these really pictures of you?
Mhm.
Are they not? Like, who am I talking to?
Are you
Yeah.
using me?
using me just for my messages? I don't know. That would be my biggest thing with it. That seems like it comes with a lot of anxiety. I don't know.
Mhm.
To be fair, a lot of the dating apps now have like you can verify yourself if you take a selfie.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that? Will
You mean like
explain that?
anti-catfishing measures
Yeah,
almost?
like it's like if you want to get verified, take a selfie to prove it's actually you, and you have to take like 3 different selfies of different faces. They're all stupid faces too. I had to do it. It was really
Like a CAPTCHA thing?
It was like a-
almost, but-
I didn't do that, so
Oh my gosh, of
So
course.
Kate is not verified.
I am not verified.
Sam
Apparently,
is
I didn't know that
I
was
am
a thing.
verified.
Followed it up with your key line.
Honestly, actually,
Ladies.
okay. Maybe the very worst thing is picking photos. I don't know. That was really hard for me.
I just had my friends do it. I was like, just do it.
I
Kind of had Ruth do it. I was like, okay, which of these am I putting on there?
did. I remember helping.
Yeah, sitting at your dining room table.
Something all people think they're going to be doing with their pastor, right?
Yeah.
Will you pick out my dating
Yeah,
profile
because like
pictures?
my friends, like you have to get one where you're outside doing an activity, one that's funny to prove that you're actually funny.
Did you have a fishing photo?
I did not have a fishing
Oh,
photo.
hallelujah.
I see so many fishing photos too.
Oh, okay. So my
Especially on those Christian ones, right?
My
A lot
best
of fishing
friends
photos.
made-
Because they be fishers of men.
Oh my gosh.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
my best friends made like these are rules for me, and they're like, okay, you're not allowed to swipe right on anybody that has like holding a fish. If their only photos are from the military, you're not allowed to swipe right. That was kind of disappointing, but you know, like there were like all these things, like if they're wearing like a Bass Pro, right? Is that how you say it? Bass Pro stuff
Shop,
or whatever.
like
Bass
Yeah.
Pro. How else would you say Bass Pro
I don't know.
shop?
I always
shop.
think it's bass because I think of like a
Bass
bass
Pro.
drum.
It's not a bass.
Base Pro.
There's literally a fish on the logo, Kate.
It's not a bass.
I don't.
Sorry.
It's not like
totally got on you there.
That's our
Okay.
job.
We don't like musicians on dating apps.
Wow.
So do you see a lot of pictures of people with guitars and stuff on there?
Actually, surprisingly not.
No.
I was gonna say, do you see more of like guys with pictures and guitars, or
No,
Is it
I saw a
still-
lot of pictures of dudes with other girls, which is kind of
to
interesting.
make you jealous? Obviously.
Do you ever see anybody that like puts an emoji over somebody else?
No, I've seen it. I saw a couple like blurred faces or whatever, and some that were very obviously like their parents. But
I saw one that was just a baby. Like it was just a picture of a baby, and I was very
At
concerned.
least you know going up front that they have a baby.
I guess I don't know.
Because
Someone,
you would
Yeah.
assume,
someone
right?
once told me that you got to look out for people whose only pictures are with their friends or like in groups
you don't actually know who they are.
because you don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
And so that's one that I was told. And I was also told you don't want to be the friend who's in all of the pictures because they're using that to make themselves look better.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I've been told.
Yes.
I don't know if those are true, but those are the 2 rules I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like every group of friends, it's just sort of like, again, in high school when we made those lists of like, what do you want in a guy or whatever. It's the same thing. It's just a different version now.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, sorry. Apparently my oldness just quieted the room there.
I've never been on a dating app, so I still can't. I still can't relate to anything.
You should get one, Elijah. I
Yeah,
think
you
it'd
know-
really
you think I
suit
should?
you. Yeah.
Do you think I have a chance?
Yeah, I think you might.
Ruth, do you think I have a chance?
Dad bods are in now, dude.
Thanks, Sam. Now I'm definitely not doing it. Now that's the thing.
Tune in next week on
Oh,
Church is Stupid.
yeah,
to
we're
hear
done.
My brother try to set up my husband.
Next week, divorce.
There's the joke for this episode.
All right, we got one.
We got one
Every
in.
episode
Oh,
needs
there's
at
a
least
question.
one.
Do you ever see people who in their profile have divorced as part of their bio? Have you ever?
I have
come
not.
across
I've
someone?
seen like guys that are like, yeah, I have a kid, but not like divorced.
Yeah, I've seen like 3 kids, and I'm 21. I'm like, holy crap, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the fun ones. No, there's also the other ones like, oh, it's like my niece or nephew in the photo, which is chill or whatever.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. That's definitely different than being divorced.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I wondered if on Christian apps, if that would be a little bit more of something you wouldn't want to put on your profile,
That you're
like
divorced.
as opposed to on other apps. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm wrong.
So Christian Mingle actually asks you like what your status is. The only reason I know that is because I totally put Bailey on Christian Mingle.
Bailey's creeping in the
He
window right
is.
now.
I know he's behind me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying this.
That's why if you hear us randomly stop talking, it's because we're being interrupted. Just teasing.
Yeah. So no.
Bailey says hi to all of our viewers. Listeners? Not viewers. It's fine.
Listeners, yeah, close
I know
enough.
words. But yeah. So like what's the best part about these dating apps? There has to be something good about them, right? Because everybody uses them.
And the crowd goes mild.
Boo!
It's an actual phrase.
Boo!
I
Boo,
guess
your
it's
actual
me-
phrase.
Hey, I'm talking here, Rude.
Okay.
Got like 2 syllables out.
Okay, I thought that was gonna be my profile. I was gonna cry. I guess just meeting new people is always fun. Like there's literally like a tab on one of them, Bumble ladies, that says like, either looking for biz, BFF, or like a relationship. So it's like that's kind of cool. You can like meet new people, connect.
Are people who say they're looking for friendship
Yeah,
really looking for
that is-
friendship?
I-
That would be
I-
my question. Maybe
Friends
they
with
are.
benefit.
That is this.
What have I said about not wanting to get fired?
Whoops. I didn't say that.
How do
The
you
app
feel
said that,
like?
not me.
Yeah, the app said that.
Do you feel like being? How do you feel like your faith has informed how you go about using these apps? Like as a Christian, do you feel like you approach it any differently?
I
Then-
feel like.
I think once you start chatting with somebody, it's different because
Yeah.
like your topic of conversation is different. So like the one person who I like actually like chatted with for a while was like, oh, like when it's within like the first week or something, we're like, oh, like kind of what size of church do you go to?
Mhm.
Do you like regularly go, or like, oh, are you going to church on Sunday? Stuff like that. Where it's like if you're on a different site, it might not be as you probably wouldn't hear that. Like you probably wouldn't
Yeah.
have that kind of conversation.
You don't casually ask what denomination somebody is when you instantly meet them on
Yeah.
Tinder.
Yeah, and you don't like swipe left on somebody for their denomination. Not saying I ever did that, but I'm just saying it's a okay. I dug myself into a hole there, but
It's fine. It's fine.
whatever.
Kate's gonna now list off the denominations that she swipes left on. Just kidding.
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah,
as
what
well,
were you gonna
Sam?
say, Sam?
What was the question again?
How do you feel like being a Christian has changed how you interact on these apps? Or do you think it has?
It's. I don't know if it has necessarily, but I feel like on Upward ladies specifically.
Ugh,
It's the worst. I don't know if I like Upward or not, but it's like
it's
the way people like talk about their faith. It's so much different because like on Bumble, it's always like, oh, there's actually like a Christian here. It's like that's cool, but on like Upward, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian and I'm a blood American and I'm a gun-toting
Yeah.
fisher.
Fisher. I'm a fisher.
I fish for fish.
And it's like, if you're not a Catholic, swipe left. Where on Bumble, it's just like, yeah, we're Christians. Like, yeah, we love Jesus. Like,
Is
it's,
Bumble specifically Christian, or is it just
It's-
religious?
no, but there's a lot more. I feel like of all the dating apps, besides Christian ones, obviously, Bumble has the most. I've noticed Christians on it.
Well, because I think on most other dating apps, even the ones that aren't Christian, you can select what your religion is, right? Or what your maybe it's not religion, but what your spirituality is, or something like that. And so it does help you in some ways. But as a Christian, that's something you do look for is authenticity in Christian faith, right? You don't want somebody to be disingenuous in their faith. I guess that's
Right.
Yeah.
weird. Which is why having those conversations, it does change a little bit after you do start talking to them. What is the stupidest thing, besides the story earlier, that has happened to you on these dating apps? I must know.
The stupidest thing?
I saw our other pastor's son on the same site.
Oh, dang, jeez.
I'm pretty sure. I told you about this.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Who'd you
sorry.
think?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
I was like,
Don't mind.
don't you do this to me.
No.
Guys, I had a heart attack. It's fine. It's fine. That is also terrifying. So you're just seeing all the pastor's family members.
It's really
Small
great.
world.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can set your location to be very close.
No, that technology doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, come on,
It's
Sam.
not real.
Don't be ridiculous.
Oh, I've
no
also
way.
learned there are
Sorry,
like
Grandma.
no dudes, like 22, like 18 to 22 that live near me,
That is very
Or at
true.
least that live near you on the app.
or like on the app.
Because I'm sure there are some who live near you.
Well, the ones that live near me are not. Besides the point.
Sam, what's the stupidest thing that's happened to you?
Oh man, when I first started, what was it? I think it was like Tinder. I got so many like dudes liking me, and they were like full on like beard dudes.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah, I'm a female. Like I was like, oh yeah, that's like. I mean, I don't know what they actually are or not, but like sometimes
Yeah.
they're just like, yeah, that's a dude.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I understand this part because I've never been on a dating app. that
Yeah, I
you
can't
know
relate.
of.
Sorry, Sam. Bad topic.
Single vibes.
I guess I'm curious. It seems like probably part of the reason that like dating apps have taken off so much over the past, I don't know, decade is just because like how easy it is to even just have the potential to connect with someone like from the couch, right?
Oh yeah.
As opposed to, you know, how it, I don't like saying how it used to be like golden days or anything, but you know, as opposed to like traditionally just sort of almost happening to meet someone, unless you were otherwise going to like, you know, like blind dates or couple swaps and stuff like that.
Well, and I think that's actually an interesting point because, like, even when dating apps really started becoming, I was probably in college when they started becoming a little bit more common.
In
Sure.
1984.
Sam?
Got him, zing, go on.
Stop! But it was almost like you didn't want to admit you were on a dating site. There was kind of like like it wasn't shameful, but it was sort of like especially the eHarmony area and things like that. It was like you didn't want to admit that you quote unquote couldn't find someone in real life.
Yeah.
So you had to turn to the internet. And now it's just like everybody's like, yeah, I'm on all these sites. It's fine. And they're on like 20 different ones.
Yeah, I feel like there's sometimes also that like there's sometimes like single parents, like you'll hear like their kids are like, you need to meet somebody. I'm sick of you being all up in my business. If you don't meet somebody, I'm going to put you on a dating site, whether you like it or not. Like kind of as a threat.
Yeah, that is sort of like a trope, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I was thinking, is it too off to say that like the thing that makes dating apps unique in that way is also what kind of makes them awkward or more difficult to use? Because I would imagine that because you would think that I would assume, right, that most people who were on a dating app, who were on that app with the purpose of actually like meeting someone for some sort of an actual sort of genuine relationship, I would assume that it would still make it pretty awkward knowing that you're not really meeting someone, even though we're in an age where like being online and meeting random people online is just more accepted and normal. I guess I would just assume that when it comes to actually like dating life that it would be a little more awkward. Like, is that a fair thing? Is that a fair thing to say? Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I'd say there's definitely a different component to talking online to like meeting in person and everything. It's very awkward.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
Well, I would think one of the advantages, though, is like, I mean, it's an advantage and a disadvantage. You can really like weed through who you do and don't want to talk to pretty quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you read somebody's profile and you find out they're interested in a whole bunch of stuff you're not interested in, you can just, okay, that like saves a step. But in the same way, it also I feel like it can ruin people you might actually get along with because you have to go on your first impression of what you think of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, and so much of dating apps is just like based solely on looks. Like I know a lot of people just don't even look at profiles.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. It's funny because I mean, dating in and of itself is sort of picking and choosing anyway.
Yeah.
Like online or offline or whatever. Like you're just sort of, I mean, to put it blatantly, you're kind of like you're discriminating in a way based on your interest between who you would want to be, you know, in a relationship with and interested in, and who you wouldn't be, I guess. So when you get everything, all that power at your fingertips, right? Where all you have to do just by looking at a picture of someone, you can decide right there.
I don't know, Elijah. It sounds like you're speaking from personal experience here.
Yeah, I met
Nope.
Elijah before.
No, I tried to swipe left on you, but it was I accidentally went the
got
other
stuck.
way,
It
and
glitched.
then
Real awkward.
yeah, I guess just like we talked about last episode, I just think that like breaking up is wrong, so that's why I haven't done it.
Church's
Oh,
divorce.
You're welcome. Come on, bud.
Well, Well, and I think from the moving on completely to a different thing,
Ignoring this completely.
the church hasn't really made a good spot for single people, quite honestly. Especially for people who are never going to get married or don't want to get married. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not, like, think
Some-
about it. A
yeah.
lot of the event, like, young adult things,
Never
End up-
couples.
yeah, well, or they end up turning into dating, like, trying to match people up type
Yeah.
deals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Instead of just, like, hangouts. I know our brother, I have more than one brother. So mine and Sam's older brother, Nate. You're welcome, Nate. He was mentioning one problem they were having with their young adult group was that what was happening was people were basically finding somebody to be with, getting married, and then leaving the group. And he's like, it was kind of people were kind of getting a little frustrated by it because they wanted to just hang out and be a young adult group, but it ended up becoming essentially a mixer where it was trying
Yeah.
to find your future spouse. And I think a lot of the church is really uncomfortable with this idea of singleness. And part of that's because I think our culture in general is really uncomfortable with the idea of singleness.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our value and worth is placed on whether or not we're desirable or
Yeah.
marryable.
Mm.
And I think that's why people rush into bad relationships. Because at least if you're in a bad relationship, at least somebody cares, right?
Yeah.
At least somebody desires you and you're seen as valuable. And the church hasn't really done a good job of not continuing that stereotype. And I can even
Yeah.
say this when I was early on in my first appointment, and this was after me and Elijah were married. One of my eventually friends came up to me at like some event and was like, we introduced ourselves. He's like, "Oh, you're Ruth." And I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Oh, I had a congregation member visit your church, and then he came back to my church and told me I should date you because you were single." And I was like, "Well, I'm married, so this is awkward." But it was definitely like, I mean, we were talking about it as a total joke because it was obviously like, I've never met this person just because they're a pastor, I'm a pastor, and we're like,
Yeah.
even if we were both single, that doesn't necessarily mean you make a good fit. But the church really kind of does that. It puts that emphasis on like, okay, I'm gonna hook you up, right? Like, how can I figure it out? And they're really uncomfortable with singleness. And I think that in some ways, really uncomfortable with their pastor's singleness. But in other ways, also really uncomfortable with their pastor's marriedness. Pastors aren't people. It's just what it seems.
That's
But
the truth.
thanks, Sam. But
Sam, you're killing it today, man.
that's something that I think is just, I don't think it's talked about enough in the church. Just that idea of it's okay to be single, right? It's okay to, if you never get married, that's your life choice, man. That's fine.
Well, a lot of people get married too at older age than like they're kind of expected to in the church as well.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not really the most uncommon thing.
Our worth and our value shouldn't be found in who we're with, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be found in our spouse. It should be found in Christ, especially as Christians. And shifting that emphasis can be really dangerous to our lives, which I'm saying in the last minute we have
Yeah, right.
to do this. I always like to bring up really heavy topics right at the end. But I'm just going to cut it off there for now, and maybe we'll come back to that topic at some point. I don't know that I want to thank you, Sam, for being on, but I guess thanks.
I do. Thanks, Sam.
No problem.
I'd like to say we'll never have you back, but gosh, we're going to have him back, aren't we? I'm just
Guess I'll
teasing.
leave.
I'm just teasing.
I'd like
We'd
to
love
remind the
have you.
audience that they are family. So
Family.
they like to rip on each other
It's
like that.
true.
Not
That's my
anymore.
brother. I'm allowed to.
Not since I took her away from me.
So
Oh, boy.
Thank you, Sam, for real, for being on here and sharing a little bit of your Christian dating app experience. Kate, I hope we didn't traumatize you too much. Thank you too for sharing. And from all of us here at Church is Stupid,
Comma butt.
I'm Ruth.
I'm Kate.
I'm Elijah.
I'm still single. And Sam.
Single Sam.
Amen.
What better way to end? We hope you guys have a great week. Please don't look him up. Thank you. Good night.